They had 70% position but lost 3-0? How is that possible? Was it luck? You hear that from one game and it can be luck. But they win the Champions League and it makes you think. Possession isn't the same as tactical dominance. Let's break down what it takes to dominate tactically. Soccer has many aspects of play. I'm sure you've played a game where you have immediately seen the danger of the other team. For example, you saw that their attackers have blistering pace. But other than that, nothing looked too scary. On the other hand, say your team enjoys playing with crosses, especially from set pieces. Most of our players, but especially our striker and our central defenders, are much taller and bigger than anybody else on the other team. The tactical dominance is the ability to impose your preferred style on the game. If we draw a matrix of what each team wants in their offense and what they want in their defense, we can see that most of the time possession is nowhere to be seen. The control is about where on the field the game is played, as well as how it is played. Soccer isn't just about what you do with the ball. It's about shaping the entire game to suit your team. Don't get me wrong, everybody would want to have 100% possession of the ball. Firstly, if we know that the opponent cannot score when we have the ball. Secondly, it's simply more fun to have the ball. I'm not talking about the notion that human beings value possession from a materialistic point of view. I'm talking about the fact that if a parent gives a ball to a kid in the backyard, the kid can entertain themselves only with that and no opponent or a goal. Thirdly, it takes patience to not have the ball while doing all the things required as defensive duties. Imagine you take away the ball from that kid and ask them to keep running between several cones, pretending to be marking an opponent. Within few minutes, they will start doing sloppy job and they just gave up completely. It's boring. That's why we naturally want possession. Here's why it can be deceptive as a measure of dominance. Say we have 90% success rate of passing our own half when playing from the back. If the other team presses and obtains the ball high up the field, it becomes very dangerous. Our team is not ready to defend. Their team is centrally positioned and they score a goal from a clear chance. Just because we retained a lot of possession, it doesn't mean that we got anywhere near to their goal. Maybe we passed the half, but by that time they dropped deep and created a bunker in their penalty box. We have this sterile possession, passing for passing's sake. There are few other ways to measure dominance. One is to measure expected goals, or XGs. Essentially, a standardized way to measure the quantity and quality of chances. For example, a clear-cut chance would be a zero point 0.9 xg, and a shot from far might be zero point 0.2 xg. The idea is that 9 out of 10 clear-cut chances result in a goal, while there's a case for only 2 out of 10 long shots. It's not a perfect measure, but it sometimes happens that a team with 5.41 xg doesn't score a goal, and a team with 0.33 xg does. However, that's the world of statistics, where we are measuring the dominance, not the actual outcome, to predict the result. Let's get back to the tactical dominance. There are essentially three types of tactical dominances in modern football: the high possession game, the low block game, and the high tempo game. You can say that if there's a spectrum where the high possession and the low block teams will be on each end, and the high tempo game will be somewhere in the middle. It is interesting that when two equally good teams with opposing ideologies face each other to see who can really show their dominance. However, it is equally interesting when two teams with identical extreme objectives compete. Now, it's impossible for both teams to have over 70 possession of the ball after all. Let's get into the details of these three types of tactical dominance. The Barcelona school of thought, initially introduced by Johan Cruyff, is all about possession. They love possession. They don't say that they will steal the ball from the opponent. They talk about recovering the ball. Even the language is important for them, to remind themselves that the ball belongs to them, not the opponent. So they dominate possession. They press immediately to recover possession, and they patiently look for opportunities for a chance to score. In every competition they play in, they have the players that are superior technically and positionally. Another soccer philosophy is the low possession or low block, combined with counterattacks. Professional soccer players will not develop technically much, if at all. They bring their technique from their childhood and teenage years, along with their personality traits. Professional soccer coaches then need to find a way to win against another team that maybe is technically dominant. So they set a team that defends almost flawlessly and invite pressure. If the other team keeps pushing to score with more players, that means that there's lots of space for a counterattack. Jose Mourinho's teams often did this and won titles. Atletico Madrid, under Simeone, has been doing this thing for the past decade. They cannot compete with Real Madrid and Barcelona technically, so they change the type of game that is being played. The third type of dominance is the high tempo game. Klopp's Liverpool or Real Madrid or Leipzig has often played variations of this game. While the exact tactic is different, the idea is similar. Create situation where players can challenge and be challenged to show their individual dominance. In possession, they try to quickly move the ball to the final third and attack before the opponent has regrouped. If they lose the ball, they quickly press, but they're okay to lose the ball. They don't fight to get or keep the ball. They fight to create moments where individual brilliance can have a chance. Players like Salah or Mane in Liverpool, or Mbappe and Vini Jr. in Real Madrid, they don't need too many chances to score. However, they must not wait for the opponent to has regrouped. And if they lose the ball, they have their midfield and defenders to help recover the ball. These were big general buckets, but obviously there's nuances that each needs to get it right. In the last example, you might have noticed that Liverpool and Real Madrid play significantly different games, even though they are nearby on the diagram of possession ideologies. The role of the coaches at this and those level is to really dig into the individual characteristics of the player. For example, a big dominant striker can work for teams that defend all the time and hope for the set pieces. However, it can also work for the Tiki-Taka style soccer, where the opponent is pinned back into a low block and you need a target man. So analyze your team with the matrix we talked before and see truly where your strengths and weaknesses are relatively to the other opponents in the league. Then be flexible in your approach to suit their characteristics. I will leave you with one thought, which is not to ask to dominate possession, but how to dominate the game. You want to win the game, and inevitably, the game will require your team to adjust and play in different ways. Help them adjust quickly and effectively. And thank you for watching.